Hello. Hola. How are you? ¿Cómo están? Just wanted to come up, I guess, or out, or I don't know. My Spanglish kicks in. Just wanted to come on a little bit early because I want to do two projects with you today or this evening. Sorry about that. Because we had some issues with our camera before and we weren't able to go live like we normally would. So I wanted to do two projects with you today. So first and foremost, in case this is your first time here with me, my name is Lena and I'm with Especially Made for Me. And I want to ask you, if you have not already done so, to please subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell so you can get notifications, and of course give us a thumbs up as you watch through the tutorial, whether it's now during the live or as a replay later. Any little bit that you might learn or that you like that makes you smile or just chuckle excuse me, or what have you, just give me a thumbs up. That way I'll know that there was something in this tutorial that you liked and enjoyed. That lets me know what to continue doing. So please do let me know. And of course, if any questions at all, make sure you put a comment on the bottom of the video, so that way I will know your question. I can answer while we're here live, or if you do it later, I can come back, because I do check those comments periodically, and that way I can answer your questions. So again, just show some love, thumbs up, click on the bell, subscribe. Definitely share the link to the video with your friends, family, on social media, so that way they can also see all the different things that we do here on the channel. And we're gonna go ahead and move on from there. So today, I mentioned we're gonna do two projects. So we're gonna be doing a quick and easy, I don't know if I guess quick depends on what you think quick would be, so I'm gonna just say easy. An easy swag. I do believe it's fairly easy, with florals from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to be doing a small centerpiece that can be changed out as the seasons. You can change it out, or you can definitely make a new one depending on the season, on the theme, special holiday or event, whether it's a wedding, a party. You want to have it as a centerpiece on each one of the tables, and you know, they can take it as a favor memoir from the event, all sorts of things. So I'll kind of go over those ideas as I put it all together. But I want to show you some of the flowers we'll be using today, some of the florals. So we're going to have some nice colors, a variety, but a lot of different shades of pinks with the whites, and of course some greenery. So we're going to change the view of the camera as I usually do, and we're going to go ahead and get started. In case you haven't looked yet, there is a list of supplies underneath the video, where the description is. So in case I might mispronounce anything, my Spanglish kicks in, or if the camera doesn't show specifically what the item is as I'm talking, please do look at the list of the supplies that you'll need, and also some of the tools that we'll be using. Won't need much. We will need some jute cord, some floral wire, chenille stems, zip tie for the bows. I do like to zip tie mine, in case you haven't seen those any of my bow videos. And we're gonna need some scissors and some wire cutters, and I actually will need my glue gun, I think. I just noticed that I have the glue gun here. The battery's still charging a little bit across from me, so we may not use the glue gun. We'll see. So we'll adapt and overcome. So I'm going to change the video of the camera so that you'll still be able to see me on the corner of the screen, but also see the top bird's eye view of my table. And make sure I take this keyboard out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and get started in prepping our items and putting things together. So here we go. Alrighty, hopefully you can see everything okay with the top view. Just gonna go ahead and bring my wire cutters, and I'm going to start just preparing our florals. I'm going to work on the swag first. So I want to make sure I take all of these little stickers and labels out of the way. And if you've seen me with doing anything with florals before, you know I like pushing the leaves up. I like the greenery to be up with the flower. To me, makes it look much nicer, gives them a little bit more of an oomph. So I'm going to be cutting them after that, and I'm going to be cutting them kind of long. Well, and actually no, I'm doing the swag, never mind me. For the swag, we're not going to be cutting. We're just going to be taking the stickers and pushing the leaves up. I almost jumped the gun there. So for the swag, we don't need to do any cutting of our stems because we're going to actually put them all together and do an arrangement. So let me know. I mentioned we had some issues with the cameras. If you're not able to see something, if I need to zoom in some more, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on going, just getting our florals ready to go. So I'm on the list of supplies. I mentioned you would need how many you would need of each. Of course, that would depend on your theme and how big or thick you want your arrangement, your swag to be. Either way, make sure it's an even number. That is the main thing. I am using the green onion, what they call the green onion, or the onion grass, also from the dollar store. But you can use any kind of greenery that you would like to use based on the theme that you wish to have, or the look that you want to have. I kind of want my swag to kind of have that long extension, I guess. So I want it to have something that's kind of long. So first things first, once you have your first set, we're going to do one set first. And I'm mentioning one because we're going to do a top and a bottom. So that's why I said make sure your items are, it's an even number, so that way you can split them up. Because you're going to do two separate bundles. And then arrange them based on your taste, what you would like for it to look like. Like so. And then you would do the same thing that you do for your one set, you would do for your other set. Okay, I was trying to not make that happen. Tuck it back in. Alrighty. I'm going to cheat since I have my E-Z Bow Maker there. I'm just gonna put that there for easier use. Okay, so we have our first one. Let's go ahead and do our second one. If this is your first time here with me, please do subscribe to the channel. Give us thumbs up. Ring that bell. Click on the bell. So you can get the notifications as we go live or do any uploads. Okay, looks like this one is really stuck. Let's see if I can use the scissors. See if I could open it up. So how are we doing out there? Hope you're doing okay. Let's see, shows a few viewers on there. Don't be shy, say hi. I don't really know who is out there unless I see a comment. So if you don't mind, while you're out there, let me know if you're comfortable, of course. First name, where you're watching from. So with this swag, what takes the longest is really your prep work. Getting all of these labels and things off of your florals and then arranging doesn't take quite as long. And just pushing up the greenery. Getting some of that sticky label stuff on my finger here. I like having them side by side because that way you could also make sure that your greenery is lining up the same, but it doesn't have to be that specific, to be honest. And all of these that I'm using, these florals, they're all from the Dollar Tree. So at a dollar store, there's no Dollar Tree in your area. They should have some florals at a dollar store. Any dollar store should do. Miss Monica, how are you? Didn't miss much at all. Just started a few, let's see, maybe about 10 minutes ago maybe. So what I've done thus far, just taking the labels off of the florals and pushing up the greenery, the leaves up on the flowers like I normally do. And I'm putting them side by side, and on the supply list I mentioned you would have a certain amount, but the main thing is to have an even number. Just kind of doing a recap for if you're just joining us like Miss Monica. And then just split them up evenly. So you'll have the same, you're going to make two sets, or a set the same. So you want to split them up evenly. And this is for our swag, our easy swag. Decide which way I want that. Okay. Alrighty. From here, this is where the fun part ends or starts. Okay. So once we have our two bundles, what we're basically going to be doing is tying them together in the middle. That's why we wanted two of the same. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're just basically combining them, just kind of bringing them together so that we can go ahead and tie them here in the middle and we can secure it. That is where our bow is going to go. We're going to make a bow to go in the middle. cut as much jute cord as you believe you're going to use. Now you will have to tie these in 3 different places because we do have a couple of different levels with our greenery. So we want to make sure that we not only do the middle, we're going to need to do a little bit further up to catch this other side. Whoops, got an alarm going up. Sorry about that. Hopefully that'll stay hushed. So I was saying we're going to make sure that we get the top part, and you'll see the ends of your stems. So we're going to do a middle, but we also need to do further up so we can catch the ones that are higher up, like our greenery that's kind of sticking up. If you feel that might be a little too much or you want it closer, you could always just bring it down a little bit, and that way you won't have to go as high up and just do a big tie in the middle. So you decide. This is based on how long you may want your swag to be. So you could always bring them all down so that way you could do one tie. Everything's just wanting to talk with me today. So here we go. I'm just gonna start tying off. In no particular way, there's no wrong way. You just want to make sure everything gets tied together. So I'm gonna do a knot, and then I'm gonna be wrapping it around just to make it tighter and making sure that we catch all of the stems, since they're not going to be even. Okay, so I'm just wrapping around to make sure it's nice and snug. And as you're able, go ahead and give it another knot just to make sure things don't come loose. And you may need to use 2 pieces unless you keep it all together on the without cutting a piece on the jute cord. Entirely up to you. I just think it's easier to manage if I cut it. But again, there is no wrong way of doing this. You do it as you're comfortable. And this part is not going to be seen because again, we're going to have our bow on this side. You could do 3 smaller pieces to tie it off first, just to kind of keep it all together. And then do the wrap around. I just like doing the wrapping because that way I can kind of be moving things around, making sure everything is secured. And what's so wonderful with these florals, since they're wired, then you can shape them up, move them around any way you like once they're nicely tied off. Okay, now moving on to the other side so I can make sure I have both ends in the middle. And depending on what you see as you're going around and tying, you can keep on. I just noticed there's another piece that was kind of looking like it wanted to come off of there, so I'm just going to wrap it up a little bit more. Okay, cutting off excess, not too close, so we can make sure our knot stays on. So now we have our arrangement here. So I mentioned earlier, you can then start repositioning, moving things around the way you want them to actually look before you put the bow on there. And since these are wired, makes it fairly easy to just kind of give it a tug to reposition everything, because everything will kind of move on you as you're, excuse me, looks like I dropped my chenille stems. I'll get some more. And then do the same, just kind of check around on your other side. Now if you look at wildflowers or flowers just growing anywhere, they're not necessarily perfect, so don't try to get it all perfect, because we want it to look natural. Just kind of play with it just to make sure you don't have anything that's completely hidden. If you want to see more of the purple, then move some of the purple around, or depending on the colors you have on here. So that's pretty much it. So we're going to work on our bow next. So I'm going to move that over a bit and get our jute cord out of the way. I'm going to try to make it upside down so that it'll be easier for you to see. But let me know if I need to adjust anything on the viewing. Let me see. There we go. So we're going to be using, I'm going to be using two. Let's see if you probably see the new one. I'm going to be using this one and this one. Wanted to have an something could be completely different with of the colors, just to kind of give it a little pop, different color. And then we have all of our colors minus the purple on this one. So this is what we're going to be using. This one's going to be our base. We're going to do the top with that one. So we'll have the yellows and the greens and the pinks and so on. Now if you already have a bow made that kind of matches those colors and you were just trying to make something to work with the bow, you could always use that. Okay, so I'm going to just dovetail in case we have someone joining us that does not know quite how we do that. We just basically fold our ribbon in half and we're going to cut diagonally towards the end where the little points are, and that'll give us our dovetail. Okay, so I am going to go probably just do a 6-inch tail. I don't want it to be too long because we're gonna cover the other flowers if we do. So I think 6-inch will be just fine. Doing, let's see, I'm gonna go maybe about 6, maybe 7 for our base loop. And all I'm doing here, once I do my loop, is just kind of, for this one you wouldn't necessarily have to, like I am doing that little twist in the middle. Just doing that just because it's what I'm used to doing. But when it's the same on both sides, you don't have to. Yes, ma'am, I do. I like making the swags, and I kind of need to. I've always think it's like I'm doing more for like the vendor shows and not putting enough online. So I need to actually put some of them up online because I haven't been putting it up on the shop, and I need to. And I think now that I'm looking at it, this is looking a little bit too big. I'm gonna go back down to 6 inches. I like 6 better. Doesn't look too big because we don't want to cover our pretty flowers. We just want to add a little something to our middle. I'm going to do 3 loops on each end because I want to do at least 2 with my other. Just once you measure one, you could just kind of look at the other to make sure that they're about even. And I'm trying not to go too fast. Let me know if I am. Or if you want me to speed up, I can do that. Okay, so this is our last loop. So I am not going to do a twist on that one. And we're just going to measure out our tail just to have it even with the other. And again, for dovetailing, we're just folding in the middle. And then we're going to cut diagonally across towards where we want those ends to be. Okay, we're done with that part. Okay, so this one is the thinner. It's not as wide. So we're going to make these a little bit longer, and I'm going to show you why in a bit. So maybe about twice as long. So I'll go with 12, maybe 20. Just slightly longer, and don't worry, I know I mentioned earlier about not wanting to cover up the flowers. This won't, because we're going to curl it. We're going to do some curling. So we're going to make 2 loops on each side of this one, just slightly shorter than our previous ones underneath, just so that we can make sure it still shows. So maybe about 5 inches if you would need to do a full measurement. I'm just eyeballing it just a little bit smaller and going with it. Doing the same on the other side. Not wanting to turn. It's wanting to be difficult, but we will adapt and overcome. Okay, this being our last one, we won't do the twist. Just want to make sure they're about the same size. I'm gonna pull it towards me a little bit just so I can reach that other one. Let's see. Just a quick measurement, and I didn't cut the dovetail on the other one, so I'm gonna do them together. Just because we can. Okay, so same thing for dovetailing. We're just going to put one on top of the other. Excuse me. I'm going to fold it right in half. And then we will cut. Now on this one, because I'm going to curl it, I'm going to do something different. We're just going to do a diagonal cut. Okay, let me get this out of the way here, and I'll show you about putting this together. Okay, so while we have our bow still here, because this is basically like another set of hands, you can move your loops however you may want to have them for your bow. If you want to spread them out some more, whatever you'd like. Okay. Going to use a zip tie to bring mine together, to kind of tie it all in place. Just make sure, because I've done this a couple of times, that you catch all of your ribbon. See, I almost did it. They're sneaky. Okay. And when we secure this, at first we won't make it too tight. We just want to kind of move it from our E-Z Bow Maker. So we're going to hold it on one side, and then you can slightly move it towards that middle, make it a little bit more snug, not all the way, because we still want to be able to fluff our bow. Okay, so we're going to move this to the back of it. Okay, and I'll show you why in a second. We can tighten it up some more. Just a little bit at a time. We don't want to tighten it so that we won't be able to shape our bow, because as we move it, it's going to be losing shape, and the loops are going to want to go in different places. So until we have it exactly the way we want it, we don't want to tighten that zip tie, because once we do, that is it. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. And this is my little tip here. I use a little chenille stem and run it through under that zip tie. Secure it a little bit more. Again, not too tight. You just want to have that in place, and just hold it while you're shaping your bow. The stem, chenille stem, is what you're going to use to secure onto your swag. Or if you're doing it for a wreath, works the same way. You just match your chenille stem, your pipe cleaner, with the color scheme that you're using, and that is it. Now, I mentioned earlier, as we move from one step to the other, we may have to touch up our bow a couple of more times. We just want to make sure that the loops are where we want them to be. Once we have that, we can tighten off and continue, and then we can make the loops look pretty. And if you find that there's any that are kind of crooked, if you do a little wiggle, that'll loosen them up to where you can put them where you want to be, so it won't be all wrinkled up. Okay, making sure all of our tails are facing in the right direction. Then we can go ahead and tighten that zip tie. And we can cut it out of the way. Cut all the excess. And we still have our chenille stem that we can hold on to and go from there. Okay? Alrighty. So, from here we gotta decide which side do we want it to be, top or bottom. Or, if you want to do it this way, you also can. Looks very pretty that way. And you don't have to worry about the tails. But this would depend on where you're going to put your swag at. If it's going to be by a fireplace, if it's going to be on top of a doorway, or if you're going to hang it on your door. May not want it that way, but may want it the long way, which is the way I was thinking of making this one. So it'll hang this way. So a couple of different ways depending on what option you prefer, and again where you're going to actually hang the swag. Okay, so once we have it here, we can come back here to secure it. I'm going to actually move it down a little bit. And you would secure it with the chenille stem just like you would on a wreath. Okay. And I'm going to put these pieces together and just giving it another twist, because then this will become what you're going to use to hang it. Okay. From here we get to reshape our bow. And I wish I would have not forgotten to bring the battery for my glue gun, because we're going to need it. So I'm going to kind of play like I did it, but show you what I meant to do. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this again upside down. For the curling of the ribbon, we're just going to grab that little corner. We're going to twist in, and you're just going to roll it. Okay, we're going to leave that there for a second while we work on the other. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, so you can see the other tails that are smaller. They're just fine to the side. They're not hiding our flowers. And then with these, I'm going to see if I can pull it up here a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do. So then we're going to find that first little corner that I cut diagonally. And then you're just going to pull out as far as you may want to, just to kind of give it the little curl. If you want it to extend more, you can extend it out more. And the tighter you roll it, the tighter that curl will be. So it's entirely up to you. Just gives it a different look without having a long tail. So it'll look like so. And you could extend it out some more if you would like. Again, based on your preference. Oh, really? You should try. It is so fun. There's no rules. No rules. Alright, so there it is. So the other way would have been, again, to have the bow sideways if you were going to hang it this way. But if you want it long to hang on like a door, this will be the way you will put the bow. So, pretty easy, not bad. Just gather your flowers, tie them off in the middle, make you a bow, tie the bow on, and you're done. So that's why I say it's easy. You can do this. You can. So I'm going to have it just right here for now so we can get started on our other project. So excited. Okay, for that one. Yes, we're gonna need that. We're not gonna need scissors. So for the second project, any questions on the first one before I move on? I should ask, so sorry. Just while I get these things unwrapped here, I'm gonna make sure I answer any questions. I know there's a delay with the streaming. Okay, so these items here, these floral foams, you can also get at the dollar store. They do have them at Walmart and pretty much any craft store, but they're usually more at the craft stores and even at Walmart. At the Dollar Tree, you can get 2 of these for $1. So it comes in 1 pack and there's 2 of them in there. So you could have another one for a different project. These are actually 1 for the $1, but we're going to have one on top of the other. And we're going to be using more florals. So yay! Yes, definitely as a centerpiece. That's another reason why I like swags. It's like a multi-purpose, very diversified. Love it, love it. Good thinking, good thinking. It's the same with the wreaths. See, my accent, my Spanglish just kicked in on that one. The wreaths. Same thing. You could put them on a table, especially if you do those minis, depending on the size of your table, of course. Okay, doing the same process with our florals, just making sure all of our greenery is towards the top, closest as possible to our flowers. Now for these, we are going to be cutting. So I want to decide, I don't think we're going to need all of them. So I'll see. We shall see. Gonna get them all prepped. At least these 3 bushes, stems. So I do want at least 3 different flowers on here. 3 different colors. So I'm using pink. I know it's not breast cancer month yet, but nothing wrong with pink during the summer months. You can change your flowers again based on your theme. This project that we're going to be working on now has a small centerpiece. You can change the flowers based again on your theme. So if you want to do this for a wedding, for example, to have it on the tables, or for graduation or a birthday, whatever the case may be, you just change your flowers accordingly. So we're going to be cutting these. We're going to be going around on the side of our round foam. Okay, so it'll be pretty covered up without having to use any moss, which I did put that on the supply list in case we need it. And then we're going to put this other one on top to give us a little bit of height. And with what we're cutting, because you know I like to I like to save as much as possible. I don't like having anything going to waste. We're going to be using those same things to keep our 2 pieces together, so it won't go topsy-turvy. And I'll show you what I mean. So from your same floral stems, instead of having to buy those wooden sticks or having to use glue, which you can as an additional support if you know that there might be, you know, a lot of movement depending on where you're going to have these at. You could use a little bit of glue, and you could also do the sticks. Now that I mentioned glue stick, I remember I mentioned about needing the glue for the bow. Normally in the middle, I normally would glue around and add some flowers. So that's what I meant with needing the glue gun. And then I would add some of the same flowers, just cut smaller, coming out of the loops to incorporate that bow into the swag. Excuse me. So that's what I wasn't able to finish. And I mentioned it earlier and I didn't get to finish saying it. But that's the part that's missing on the swag, just as an additional. Still looks good, doesn't look bad, but I like adding that on. So I'm gonna cut these some more, because what we want, we don't want it to go through. We just want to make sure that it'll hold everything together. Try to cut them about the same size. And I'm cutting 5 pieces, but we probably won't need all 5. Okay, so once we have our middle, you could actually do one in the middle and just make sure you don't go all the way through. You can also do them from here and then put it down, or you could do it here and then put this one down. It's entirely up to you. The idea again is just to have enough. I'm gonna but not to let it go through on the bottom of this one. Okay, so you will find that middle again, and then push. Don't worry, we can fix it. Okay, so now they're together, won't go anywhere. You can still add glue if you want just some extra security. Okay, so I'm going to be alternating these. So I'm just cutting about maybe 1 inch down. And I'm going to leave just a couple a little bit longer, and we can cut it down later. And you can decide which ones you want to keep longer. Just thinking of maybe building some height, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we have 3 different ones. So I'm going to start, and all we're doing is inserting them right into, and I'll go ahead and go this way so you can see it, right onto our foam, and we're using that as our contact. And I'm going to alternate. And if you find they're too long when you cut them, you could of course cut them back down some. You can put them as close as you possibly can. It wants to bend. So on this again, also you can use some glue, some hot glue, depending if you're gonna have it on a display, if you know, maybe tossed around and you want some extra security. Definitely some hot glue would be a good way to go. And you would just put the glue on your stem before putting it onto the foam. See, do I want to stop there? I think I want to do the other two. Let's see. We'll try to squish it in. Okay, so now we do the same thing, but we're going to come to this next level and then we're going to build up from there. Hi, we're back. All right. All right, let's get some more ready. So we just went around on the bottom foam and now we're going to continue to build up. And depending again on your theme, you can change the flowers as needed, and you could decide how you want to position them on your arrangement. Okay, gonna do the same thing here. Cutting about an inch. Okay, so on this one, we're now going to go onto the top part of the bottom foam. And we're just going to go in diagonally. Supposed to be using the other. I'm going to try to add another color in case you're wondering why I just did that. Can we see okay? we doing out there? Any questions on anything? Are we able to see okay? I hope so. If not, please let me know. And on these, I'm just kind of going to where I think it needs a variety of the color. Doesn't have to be all exactly on each side. Okay. One more color. Thanks, Monica. Alrighty, so I think we're getting the idea. See how it's getting filled up? You can't see any of the white anywhere around, other than the bottom. Okay, going on to the next level. Just again diagonally. I'm going in diagonally on that top part, just so that way we can start bringing them up. Alrighty. So all I'm doing, just kind of going around, filling it in, trying to have a different flower on top, not literally on top of the other, but by each other if possible, just to have that variety but still have those same colors work throughout. And that also helps with filling it in. Okay, so this is where we would have to decide if we want to build height or if we want to leave it just as the little dome. And there's another way to build the height, and I'll show you that. Can I give you an idea of that here in a second? It doesn't have to be with the flowers themselves. Okay, now going straight up. I think I'm going to put this one in the middle. So that's the last one in that color. Alrighty. I have one of these already cut. Yay! Now just filling it in. And one more of those. There we go. I think I'm actually going to do that same one. And just change these out. Just so the middle will look more done purposely. Alright, so there we are. So we can leave it just as is, looking like a dome. Or depending on your occasion, your theme. If you've seen me do the wire thing with the bowls, the styrofoam bowls, we can do that to kind of give it more of a, we want things coming out of it basically, just to kind of give it a little bit more height if we want, or leave it just as is because it looks cute. Trying to make sure I show you all the different angles. So from here you can work on some of your greenery if you want some of the green leaves to show out more, and just kind of poke them back out, just kind of lift on them. Some of them are hiding, some of them are not, so it'll make it look even throughout. But that's pretty much it. Now this you could then put on a little plate if you want to, just to kind of hide your styrofoam from the bottom. A decorative plate if you want, or since it's going to be at a table, you really can't see it unless someone picks it up, just to kind of see what you do. How'd you do that? So what do you think? That was 2 quick little projects, depending on what you consider quick. Any questions? I mentioned earlier, Monica, if you're still with us, I had mentioned about the glue gun, because I left the battery. I have the glue gun here and the batteries over there. For the bow on the swag that we made, I'm going to try to bring that back into focus here. Normally what I would do is work some of the same flowers onto the bow. And I had mentioned using the glue gun to just kind of put some of those flowers coming through from the loops of the bow to kind of incorporate the bow into the swag. So that makes it more go together. So that's what I was going to be using the glue gun for. Put one in the middle to kind of cover. You really can't see it with the bow, but the zip tie is down there. So just for, you know, to give it more coverage, you could put a little bit of a little flower in the middle and then spread some more throughout the bow to kind of add more florals to it. So here are 2 projects. Hope you like them. Thank you. Fairly easy to do, huh? So I hope you'll try it. I want to see pictures. Alrighty, well, until next time, if no questions, I don't want to keep you for too long. But if any questions come up later, please just put it down on the comment. And I do check them periodically. So even if you don't put it on there now, I can answer questions later. Bridal bouquet, yes. I thought about it. I was like, I can just see also even with the different colors, you know, just kind of do a little toss. We could add a little something on it so she'll be able to, the bride will be able to hold it. I can see them in the white too, just white with some greenery. Look very pretty. You could really do a lot with the florals with this idea. Just change the florals around. You could do a harvest one, just change the colors. do harvest and the fall, a wedding. So many options. Do red, white, and blue. Do a patriotic one. Alrighty, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Again, if any questions, leave me a comment. I do check them periodically. Hope you have subscribed. Give me thumbs up. Share the link with your friends and family in social media. And until next time, we'll see what projects will come up. If there's anything you want to see, do let me know by way of comment. And we'll see what we can do. So we'll have something that you may be looking forward to seeing. So until next time, we'll be here again Friday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And keep creating, keep having fun, stay safe, stay liquid. Bye-bye.